Hello, welcome back to Too Many Books. My name is Sean, and today I'd like to talk to you about Indomitable by Terry Brooks. Now, I just recently talked to you about Wishsong of Shannara, or Shannara, however you want to pronounce it. Indomitable is almost like a little coda for that novel. It's a short story, or very short novella, depending on how you want to look at it, that follows up the story of Wishsong. It ends up being a sort of little mini-sequel to it. Wishsong, of course, you can go back and watch that review. I try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. It followed good old Bryn and Jer Ohmsford as they were sent on a quest to destroy the Ildach, an evil, evil book. Well, here we are with Indomitable, which was written several years later, like several decades later. This was actually published as a part of Legends 2, a collection that Robert Silverberg had edited back in the early 2000s, I believe. But Indomitable was taken out of that collection and given its own standalone release, courtesy of Subterranean Press and Grim Oak Press. And you can read it as part of Legends 2. You get a whole bunch of other great short fiction in there. But if you wanted to read a standalone edition, these are going to be the way to go, although the Subterranean Press will be a lot more expensive. I'll talk more about the editions after I'm done talking about the short story itself. Just know that the artwork featured in the Subterranean Press one is by Maurizio Manzieri, and the artwork in the Grim Oak Press edition is by Marc Simonetti. So let's dive in. Indomitable takes place 2 years after Wishsong. Bryn has settled down into her own life, but this and because of that, Bryn is not in this short story. This is 100% Jer. Now, Jer, as you may remember, has the power of the Wishsong, but it's not as powerful as Bryn's. He cannot change reality through the power of his Wishsong. He can only create illusions through his Wishsong. But he is soon reunited with Kimber, the young granddaughter of Cogline, who has come to him with a quest, saying, hey, our quest is not done. You got to come meet up with me, and we got to go and destroy a lingering page of the Ildach. The Ildach has survived, and it's up to you to help destroy it and, bring peace to the land. And so Jer finds himself on a very, very quick quest. I mean, you can read this in a single sitting, in which he is going to reunite with some familiar faces. Kimber, Cogline, Whisper is mentioned. I mean, it doesn't really have any, appearance in this or any sort of action in this, but Whisper's mentioned as he goes back and runs into the Mwellrets, the lizard-like beings that are protecting the last form of the Ildach. Here we have the Shade of Alanon appearing in what is probably the worst representation of a starry night sky. Now, I enjoy Wishsong. It's not as good as Elfstone's, but it's better than Sword, in my opinion. But I'm not going to lie, Indomitable here is not quite for me. It's one of those very, very forced sequels. It doesn't really provide much to it. I mean, you already had an ending with Wishsong, and it's such a quick little jaunt that I was left scratching my head by the end of it. I didn't really need this story. It didn't really add much to it. I mean, I guess it does. I will say, what this story does right is it does provide a sense of growth and opportunity for Jer through his journey here, which I will say is done pretty well. I mean, you're getting a sort of, not really a character arc per se, but an evolution of his character, which is done well. I mean, it opens up the door for more possibility for Jer, but nothing ever really becomes of that. It's such a short little story to get to that character development that it kind of made me scratch my head and be like, why? I mean, Wishsong was a decent length novel. Bryn and Jer ran into all sorts of danger through this journey as they went about their quest. Characters came, characters went, characters were killed. But this is not a novel like that. It's such a short little journey that you're you're like, oh, we have to travel the 4 lands to, get to where we need to go, and that happens in the span of a chapter, because you don't have the page count or the length to get you to where you need to go. You're just like, oh, cool, we're there already. And I mean, it's disappointing in that regard. It doesn't quite add much to the story of Wishsong beyond that piece of growth that Jer gets, which honestly could have been included in Wishsong itself. I imagine that's honestly what I think it could have done really well, is if Brooks were to do some sort of revisionary aspect where he could work elements of this into Wishsong, it could be a better novel for it and make this short story work as a part of the whole. But unfortunately, as it currently stands just by itself, it's just, only worth reading if you wanted to see Jer again. I said the sense of danger once he actually reaches where he's going, Dunphy Aaron, is just over and done so quickly. And, it felt like more about being able to submit a novella to Legends 2 than an actual warranted short story. But, if you really desperately needed a follow-up to a song, here's Indomitable to hold you over. But anyways, it's all right. As I mentioned, it is available as a standalone by either Subterranean Press or Grimmo Press. Subterranean Press is from back in 2012. It had a unsigned edition bound in cloth, as well as this signed edition bound in bonded leather. I do have to say, I actually kind of like the number of illustrations that Maurizio provides in this small volume. It's a very small volume, but he is going time and time again. I don't really like necessarily the quality of the illustrations compared to Marc Simonetti. Not that it's bad quality by any means, but Simonetti is definitely my preferred artist of the two. Simonetti's here has the actual full-color plates, which you saw, which is a nice change. This was kind of the turning point from Grimmo using the black and white grayscale artwork of the first original trilogy to the full-color plates that they would use going forward. Honestly, I like the trim size better in the Grimmo edition as well. Plus, it has an introduction by Terry Brooks, which is going to be absent from the Subterranean Press edition. But yeah, Indomitable, it's not required reading. It's there if you needed something to hold you over, or if you needed something to bring you back into that world. But it's too short for its own good. Not that there's not enough story there to make a longer journey out of it. And it's too short for its own good within the journey it has. There's so little in it that it's really just it's fanfare. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel here. I do at least one book review a week, or book comparisons when available here, as well as plenty of other unboxings in between here and there to hold you over. But check out Subterranean Press. Check out Grimmo Press. I believe copies of the Grimmo edition are still in stock, if you wanted to check that out in the link below. And we'll see you around next time.